I want to thank everybody for braving our humidity, our modest temperatures. And first off, I'd like to give a little thanks and a round of applause to our caterers and the food preparers for a great job for the meal. And I know this was mentioned earlier, but I also want to give a huge round of applause to George and Brenda in particular. Brenda's had a tough week this week, and she still pulled this whole thing off, and we appreciate what both of them do. So thank George and Brenda very much. Maybe this won't work. So, you've met me before. My name is Marty Craig, and I'm the chairman of the museum. And tonight we're going to honor 6 new honorees, starting with the horses to remember. The first horse we're going to talk to tonight is None So Pretty. The aptly named None So Pretty was as legendary for her playing prowess as for her beauty. She was originally trained by the great Louis Lacey before being purchased by Laddie Sanford. As part of Sanford's incomparable string, this Argentine-bred chestnut mare played with distinction in high-class international competition throughout the 1920s and won so many prizes that her name is known to every follower of the game. As a seasoned veteran in 1929, she was awarded Best in Show of the National Polo Pony Society show. Accepting for tonight, Susie Salmon, daughter of Stephen Sanford, for None So Pretty.
Thank you. Good evening. I am honored to be here tonight to accept this award on behalf of my father, Laddie Sanford, and his wonderful horse, None So Pretty. We all know that the heart of polo is the horse. Most would agree that the pony represents no less than 60% of the game. My father's penchant for the finest horses, and fortunately for him, the ability to buy them, earned him the reputation of the best mounted polo player in the world. In addition, he was noted to be the best dressed man in sports, leading a list of 10, which included Joe DiMaggio. In 1925, he bought None So Pretty for a record amount of $10,500. It turned out to be a bargain. 3 years later, he purchased his great pony, Jupiter, for $22,000. None So Pretty was none too happy about this record being shattered. If he'd had an agent, I'm sure he would have renegotiated. Nevertheless, these were exorbitant prices. 20 years later, in 1948, the high end of the price range was only $5,000. Laddie Sanford was willing to pay the price for the best, and None So Pretty was indeed the best of his breed at the time he purchased him. My father wasn't just in it for himself. For example, in 1928 international match with the Argentines, the entire United States team was mounted on Sanford ponies in the first, fourth, and eighth periods of one of the games. All of this, along with 5 U.S. Open wins over 3 decades, should be sufficient evidence that Laddie Sanford and his Hurricane teammates were indeed well-mounted and well-funded. Then there were the awards. In 1928, my father's horse Shamrock took first prize at Meadowbrook in the annual National Polo Pony Society show. In 1929, at the Ranelagh Polo Pony Show in England, his trio of Judy, future Hall of Famer Fairy Story, and the record-breaking Jupiter won the World's Championship in their class for the second time. Later that year, at the 11th annual show of the National Polo Pony Society at Meadowbrook, Laddie's ponies took 5 blues, including None So Pretty, Best in Show, which was my father's 4th Best in Show in 6 years. It's been 98 years since my father purchased None So Pretty, but it's never too late to recognize greatness. I am honored and pleased to accept this wonderful recognition on behalf of my father and None So Pretty. Thank you.
Thank you, Susie. The next horse we're honoring tonight is one many of you in the room actually know, Hail Bob. Maybe I need to be closer to my machine. Hold on. We can defeat technology with a few steps. The petite superstar pony, Hail Bob, proved that you can't judge a book by its cover. Everyone was always surprised by her pure thoroughbred pedigree because she looked like an elegant version of a chunky, short-coupled quarter horse, according to Adam Snow. But after being purchased by Adam, Hail Bob's talent soared as brightly as the comet after which he renamed her. Hail Bob won numerous Best Playing Awards in the early 2000s using her amazing physical talents of speed, turning ability, and that were only topped by her assertiveness and heart. To accept Hail Bob tonight, Adam Snow, who spent many, many, many chukkers on Hail Bob.
Thank you. This is a huge honor for Hail Bob to be recognized in this way. I don't know how much you guys want to learn about Hail Bob, but we could be here quite a while if you want to know a lot about her. In 1998, I got a phone call from somebody I'd never heard of at the time named Roger Redmond. And Roger is here tonight to join us. And please stand up so that they can see you. Roger bought Hail Bob off the track in Detroit, Michigan, and he called me. He was on his way over from Sarasota and asked if I wanted to try his horses. And I met him that afternoon at Orchard Hill, rode them. He said, "Here's a little mare, but she's probably too small for you." And I was like, "I really like her." Played her the next day in a practice, and she was 6 years old, and I bought her. And within a week, I took her to the field for our first game of the U.S. Open. And I thought maybe I'd just warm up on her, but she felt so good warming up, I was like, well, maybe I'll just play her as a spare for a chukker. And got on her for a minute and scored 2 goals and ended up in a battle in the 6th chukker against Outback and played her the last half of the 6th chukker. And that is the first mare in my life I've taken so quickly from buying her at age 6 to putting her in the U.S. Open, but I didn't teach her anything. Roger taught her everything, or else the mare had it in her heart. She was about this tall, 15 hands with shoes on, had a heart of a lion. I got to play her for 11 years, during which time she won 6 Best Playing Pony Awards. And those were all in polo from 20 goals to 26 goals. She won Best Playing Pony in the Gold Cup in 2001. And she was always my favorite. 11 years I got to play her from 98 to 2009, and then there's some symmetry here. She was retired on our farm for 11 more years, during which time she foaled 4 foals, and shabop, bebop, bop bop, and lollipop. Anyway, she earned it. Roger helped her earn it, and it's a huge thrill to have Hail Bop win this award. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Adam. Next, we'll do the Philip Eichelhart Awards. And the first award tonight is for Thomas Edward Hughes. Tom Hughes, whose career spanned 55 years, was an early proponent of professional umpires and diligently worked to improve the quality of umpiring. Working with the USPA, club officials, and committees, he drove the creation of the professional polo umpire system currently in place. A man of many talents, Hughes umpired high-goal matches in the U.S. and England. He managed several polo clubs and held a 4-goal handicap outdoors. He enjoyed a robust career, winning many tournaments, including the inaugural USPA Gold Cup in 1974, the Silver Cup in 1974, as well as its predecessor, the 20-goal, 4 times in a 5-year span. He also won the 1970 America Cup and the Butler National Handicap in 1973 and 1975. Accepting tonight is his grandson, Cole Salgado. Cole?
Good evening. My name is Cole Salgado. I'm the grandson of Tom Hughes. My mother, Kara Hughes Salgado, is Tom's daughter. I am both proud. I am both proud and honored to be here this evening to celebrate my grandfather's induction this year into the Museum of Polo and Hall of Fame. When we learned that Tom was elected the winner of the prestigious Philip Eichelhart Award for outstanding lifetime contributions to the sport, we were so proud and excited to hear the news. When my grandfather passed, I was just 11 years old, so there's little that I remember, but much more than I wanted to know before I stood up here tonight. The things I remember: kind gentleman who took me on tractor rides, introduced me to farm life and horses, and could tell a very good story. He made us laugh with his pranks and never gave up keeping in touch even though we lived far away in Chicago and he lived in Florida. What I learned about Tom. Before finishing high school, Tom entered the U.S. Air Force, where he served our country for 4 years of active duty, including Korea. Tom started playing polo in the mid-60s at Oakbrook Polo Club and continued his career for 55 years. He played on winning teams in both the 16-goal and 20-goal championships in 1966. He played on Oakbrook teams that captured the National 20-goal championship in 1968, 1969, and 1970. In 1973, he played with legacies Bill Ilvasacker, Alan Scher, and Stuart McKenzie as Oakbrook captured the Butler Handicap, which he repeated in 1975 and 1989. In 1974, it was the team of Tom Hughes, Robin Eline, Joe Barry, and Tommy Wayman that took home the first USPA Gold Cup for Milwaukee. In addition to the myriad of trophies Tom won over the years, he played invaluable roles in the operations of polo clubs. First at the Oakbrook Polo Club, learning under the legend Cecil Smith, and later as director of polo operations at the Sarasota Club at Lakewood Ranch. Tom was an early proponent of the professional umpires. He worked diligently with the USPA, club officials, and committees over many years to transform officials from amateur to professional status. Resulting in the professional umpire system in place today, he served on the rules handicap, and umpire committees of the USPA and has umpired all major high goal tournaments in the United States and Great Britain. In addition to all the accolades I learned of, what I knew and remembered, there was something else, what I heard. I heard that anyone who ever knew him begins a story about him with a smile on their face and a shake of their head. Tom was somebody that everybody knew a decade or two ago, but no one really knew him for sure. Rumor has it, he never saw a good woman or a good horse, and he didn't want to. But he had both awesome wives and awesome horses over the years. There was this story about Lester, Armour, and a key. There was another one about a gap-toothed boy and pulling his eye out. I can't tell you about those stories because they'll take too long to tell. Tom Hughes was truly one of a kind. I'm so proud to be here this evening to accept this. My mother, Kara Hughes Salgado, fought a courageous battle with cancer over the last 15 months and passed away peacefully. Passed away peacefully on December 8th. And it was Tom's birthday. She would have loved to be here tonight, so together, my mother and I thank the Polo Museum for this honor and allowing me to share in the celebration and legacy of my grandfather, Tom Hughes. Thank you very much.
Cole, thank you for that. What a wonderful story. Our next inductee to the Eichelhart Award is Alexander Hagen, a man whose name is nearly synonymous with polo in California. Al Hagen focused his efforts on growing polo on the West Coast in Indio, California, both on and off the field. He started Empire Polo Club in 1987 and built the 11-field club into a juggernaut that hosted the first 40-goal event in the United States, the first U.S. Women's Open, the Townsend Cup, and the Arena Open tournaments. The busy club featured at least 15 teams playing every winter, along with a polo school and Sunday polo with record-setting attendance. Hagen, who began playing polo in 1983, was a patron of the Empire Polo team for 30 years. We're lucky to have Al here tonight to accept his award. Al, please come up.
Excuse me, I'm used to speaking, but not to reading. My wife made sure, she said she'd help me write the speech, because if I just got up and started talking, we might be here till breakfast. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Again, my name is Al Hagen, and I'm honored to be here at the Polo Museum, and honored that the board of directors chose to go ahead and make me a part of this prestigious group. I'm here with my wife, Betty, who has supported me for over 40 years in my passion for polo, not only my playing, but more importantly, for the development of Empire Polo Club. With me tonight are my children, Alex, who got me involved in polo at about 14 years old, and Mickey Britton's Fair Hills Farms in Los Angeles. We'd go up there every Tuesday night and played in an arena, and that was the beginning of Empire Polo Club. I'm not sure if my wife will ever forgive Mickey. Alex headed up the USC polo team at USC and eventually achieved a 3-goal rating in the USPA. My son Andrew, who's also here, took on the job of being the photographer for the polo club, and more particularly, shot all the great acts at the Coachella Valley Coachella Valley Music Festival that went on for over 20 years under our leadership. All of the great acts were documented by Andrew. My daughter Autumn is also here, and she's been one of my greatest supporters. My grandchildren, Adam, Ariel, Gavin, Quinn, and Ryan, are also here as well. So we have a good representative of the Hagen family. And I also want to thank Jan and David for supporting our children, their husband and wives. I've been blessed to have such a great family and support me in what we actually achieved at the Polo Club over all of these years. Empire Polo Club started in 1987, as they told you, and it started after we'd played several years at El Dorado Polo Club. And after that, we decided to open up the club, and we put in 3 polo fields. And we thought that was quite a feat. And ended up with 12 fields and an arena. All this could not have happened without the help from my family, of course, and some very special people who are here with us tonight. Kevin Iddick, a 4-goal polo player, was our first pro. And he traveled around the country with Alex and myself, taking a look at other polo clubs and playing polo, and he spearheaded the development of the polo fields at the club. Now, polo was not somebody who had a degree in grounds maintenance or engineering or irrigation. He just knew what it was all about. He loved polo, he loved the horses, and he made sure that the fields were something that would support the players and the horses. Polo is still part of our future, and Kevin is still a big part of it. I believe nobody knows more about field maintenance and development, certainly in the West Coast, than Kevin. At this particular point, if you don't know, we basically leased the polo fields to the concert venue of Golden Voice. And unfortunately, they decided to go ahead and turn them into soccer fields. You've probably heard this story before in other clubs. Well, we decided not to let it go. We went down the street 1 mile, bought an additional piece of land. At this point, Kevin has developed 3 new polo fields, a practice field, and an arena. And his plans right now are going ahead and putting in an additional 5 fields. So Empire didn't go away, it just moved 1 mile to the east. Bob and Marcy Putz are here also. Bobby and Marcy came with us in the early years and joined Empire as a polo pro and managers, and helped us to take polo at that particular point to a whole new level. We thank them very much, and they're an important part of the history of Empire Polo Club. Last but certainly not least is my dear friend Rob Scappa. Rob is a passionate polo player and has helped the Empire team for 20 years. He has protected me both on and off the field, because not only is he a great polo player and a good friend, he's also my attorney. Thanks, Rob. I am aware that this honor is not for my skill as a polo player, which I dearly love, but rather the development of Empire Polo Club. Over the years, we have traveled all over the world with my family, from Windsor to Bagatelle, and Malaysia to Singapore, and from the East Coast to the West Coast, taking a look and playing at different clubs. And after looking at all of those, we decided that there were ways that we could go ahead and try to improve at what we saw. And that's what we worked on at the club for about 37 years, with the best facilities for players, horses, and the spectators. Our whole idea was to make it comfortable for everybody. And basically, that's what we've worked at doing, and I believe that we've been successful at that. Using our beautiful fields allowed us to go ahead and attract other assets to polo, which helped support a lot of the things that we're doing. And we were able to bring in the Coachella Valley Music Festival and also the Stagecoach Western Festival, 2 of the largest and most successful concerts in the world. Again, I would like to thank the Polo Museum Board of Directors and all of the polo players and patrons of polo that are here tonight for this honor that I certainly didn't ever expect, but I'm very honored to accept. Thank you.
Alex, thank you very much, and congratulations to you and your family for all the endeavors in California. Now we're down to our last two new members to the Museum of Polo and Hall of Fame. The first one is Aidan Rourke. Aidan had a celebrated career in the United States and internationally during the golden age of polo prior to World War II. The Irish-born Rourke was a solid fixture in California, primarily at the Riviera Polo Club in Los Angeles, and a pioneer for polo on the West Coast for decades. Representing his adopted home, the talented 8-goal star was a key part of the winning team from the upstart West in the fabled 1933 East-West Series, and again in 1934. He then played for Great Britain in the prestigious 1939 Westchester Cup at Meadowbrook, and in 1949, Rourke represented the U.S. in the international match against Argentina before retiring from polo in 1954. We were able to convince Julian Hipwood, who is here tonight, to accept on Aidan's behalf, as they are both from the wonderful country of Great Britain. And Julian actually told me he knows a little bit about Aidan, and so Julian, if you're still available, where are you? We'd like to have you accept his award.
I've got a shout. Can anyone hear? Yes. You're probably wondering why I'm up here. There are two reasons, really. Maybe three or four, but Aidan, the first reason I'm up here is he was an Englishman. The second is that when I came into polo with Raja Hanut Singh, who was a famous storyteller, he came to America a couple of times to play. And he told stories about the American players, about every English player, funny, good, bad, ugly. But one of the guys I remember was Aidan Rourke. He said the guy was so quick, and he saw so much talent there, and he was going to be a 10-goal player. And I was, 18 years old and just coming into polo then. So that is all I know about Aidan, except, that I heard his name constantly through Raja Hanut Singh. And I was on this committee, I'm not anymore, and I'm very pleased and happy that they have chosen Aidan Rourke for this award. I'm really honored to be here to accept it. Thank you.
I may have Julian fill in more often. He didn't know he was going to do this until about an hour and a half ago. So, Julian, thank you very much for that. Our remaining inductee tonight is Jeffrey Stewart Hall. Apparently, some of you have heard of him. One of the most accomplished American players in recent history, Jeff Hall has won virtually every major U.S. tournament and reached an 8-goal handicap. He is a 10-time winner and record holder for most wins of the USPA Silver Cup, his first in 1997 and his 10th in 2022. Known for his aggressive style riding top ponies, Hall has also won the 2003 U.S. Open, the 2020 USPA Gold Cup, the 20-goal Ilva Soccer Cup 4 times and the Pacific Coast Open twice, as well as many other high-goal tournaments. Jeff represented the United States in international matches as a member of the 1998 14-goal World Championship and the 2009 and 2018 Westchester Cup teams. Jeff, come on up. Welcome to the museum.
Good evening, everyone. What an amazing experience standing in front of all of you tonight. When I received the news that I had been nominated to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, I was with my wife and 2 boys in the car. After the call, she looks at me and she's saying, what? I think because she looked at me with a shocked face. And I said, well, baby, they've chosen me to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And she looked at me and she said, well, aren't you a little young for that? And I told her, that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm 43 now, and I thought to myself, surely I have at least 5 good more years in me. What an honor to be inducted here tonight. The fact that I can enjoy this with my family and my friends that have made it here tonight, thank you all for coming. I want to also thank the museum, the nominating committee, and the board of directors for nominating me. My next thought was, I'm going to have to give a speech. Not my strong point, but here we are. For months, I've been considering what I would say when I got up here, and a few sleepless nights, to be honest, last night being one of them. It forced me to think about my career so far, and let's be clear, this is not my retirement speech. Polo has been my whole life and has given me everything. My obsession and passion started when I was about 5 years old, and it's only grown from there. I started playing polo in California, Santa Barbara in the summers, Indio in the winter. I remember driving from Santa Barbara to the desert every weekend with my dad and Leanne. I would beg my parents to leave me there so I could practice and play with the other kids that lived in the desert, like Fred Mannix. I've since been back to Santa Barbara to play in the high goal season for the past 30 years, with the exception of 2 or 3 seasons. When I was 12, the same age as my son Luke, sitting right over there, I was presented with the opportunity to go to Argentina to live, practice, and play with the Cassettes in Lobos, Argentina on their ranch. I can't imagine sending my son Luke to Argentina alone. Mom and Dad, you are much braver than I am. Well, I went, and what an experience I had. I remember the first time we had a game outside of the ranch. I rode a set of 6 horses with all my gear on them for about an hour to the polo field, played the game, and then rode back to the ranch. That was a crazy experience. I quickly learned I needed to get much better so I could earn a spot in the car to get to those practices. Ironically, this is where my polo career started. Christian Laprida found me playing there and invited me to go play with him, Mickey Tarnapol, and Esteban Pinello in Greenwich on the Revlon polo team. I was 12. The rest is history. I want to say thank you to my mom and dad for letting me go on this trip, because I feel this was a pivotal moment in my life for me to become who I wanted to be. Mom, I think of all those times I ditched church, but I think they paid off. Sorry. I want to thank my father in particular for the foundation and the opportunity that I was fortunate enough to begin with. To this day, my dad can't watch. If he can't watch online, he's texting Michelle and keeping up with every score, checker by checker, on every game. He's my biggest fan. Speaking of my wife, Michelle, what can I say? Again, polo has given me everything. Another amazing blessing that I had, that had I not been playing polo, I would have not have met you. Michelle is always there for me. Of course, for all the good times, but even more so when things are not the best. I don't know about all the other polo players in here, but when I lose, I'm not very easy to deal with. Thank you, Ange, for all your support. And Kim Bush, thank you for setting us up. You knew what you were doing. There's so many people here tonight, many that are not here tonight, and even more that have passed and are watching from above, that have made an impact on my career and my life. I want to take a moment to ask everyone who's played with me in the past or who I've played for in the past to stand up and be recognized. I know there's a lot of you in here. I want to enjoy this moment with all of you. All of you have made an impact on me in one way or another. I could not be standing before you all tonight without all of you, and for that, I'll be forever grateful. Thank you all for coming here to celebrate such an amazing night with me and my family. Cheers.
Congratulations, Jeff, and to your whole family. That concludes our ceremony tonight. I want to give you a couple of pieces of information as you get ready to go. One, if you happen to walk by George or Brenda, say thank you to them for all the things that they did to make this happen. Secondly, there's a memento for you at the door, which is a book that's published every year by Melinda Brewer, who donates all of her time to the museum to do the portraits of our horses to remember, and has made such a wonderful gallery of presentation of the horses. Thank you all for coming, and we look forward to seeing you next year. And there's a Memorial Sunday at 4 o'clock to Remo, a polo game at Grand Champions. For any of you that can get over there to see that, it's 4 o'clock on Sunday. Thank you.